You're live with Kristoffer Polaha. I'm coming to you live with the fan of February. Cindy has joined me. Apollo Moniz has joined me. Jordan has joined me. Paul Greene has joined me. Debster Girl has joined me. Paul, stick around. If you want to go live with me, stick around here. Mo is here. May is here. Lucy is here. Hi, Lucy, the official. Emily Hahn is here. What's up, Emily? You made it. You're here. Welcome. Guys, I have some subscribers. I've got some subscribers that I want to thank. Every day I'm going through and I'm thanking people who have subscribed to my channel. As a part of my saying thank you to my fans for the fandom February. Stephanie Dawson has been a subscriber since August 2022. The Nurse Interrupted Official. Oh gosh. She's been I'm trying to remember her name and I can't. I've got to remember your name. Nurse Interrupted Official 2022. Janice Walker 2022. Debbie Briers Landon August of 2022. Tammy Grisham August of 2022. Mary Pacala August of 2022. Judy Melson August of 2022. Robin Giazzo, August of 2022. Stephanie Young, August of 2022. Doreen Polaha, my cousin's wife, August of 2022. And Brooke Lewis, our birthday girl, has been a subscriber, August 2022. Okay, hold on a second. Hold on one chopping second. Is Paul Campbell watching this right now? Paul Campbell, what's up, dude? And I think Paul Rosker's watching this. Hi, guys. All right, Paul, are you out there? Hello from Reno. Hello from New Hampshire. Oh my gosh!
What's up?
What's up, dude?
What's up, big guy? I was just
Man.
I was just going to the bathroom when you requested the thing, so I had to finish that.
You had to go pee real quick. Hopefully pee.
No,
Dude,
not that.
like no. Well, hey, so I'm doing this thing. You are gonna be my first actor guest for the month of February. And
Okay.
while you and I have never worked together, while we don't have a fandom together, you and my son do. And I've been thinking about you because you have this beautiful fandom. And I wanted to give you a chance to come on. It's called Fan the Fandom February. And what I'm
Okay.
doing is I'm going live every single day and I'm just loving on my fans and I'm saying thank you for, being a part of what I do and supporting me. And I was going to bring people on that I've worked with and we were going to talk about projects and different things and how that, a part of why those people were fans of those certain projects. But let's talk because you and I've done your podcast. People have seen it. I just got this beautiful letter, dude, from a woman named Diane Kendall. Are you familiar with who she is?
No. Uh-uh.
So Diane wrote me this letter and she said, the first time I ever heard about you was on Paul Greene's
Oh, cool.
podcast.
Cool.
And she heard the story about the angel and she's like, no one like thought you were crazy. I had an experience like that. I can't
Yeah.
explain it, but hearing you explain it, and then that movie, The Shift, unlocked some stuff in her life. And dude, it's crazy what we do and what you do. I want to talk to people about. I want you to talk about what you do for a minute because you have a whole living wellness. You've taken what you do and you've broadened it to a whole place. But she wrote me this beautiful 8-page letter with a ninth page of PS on how we can impact people's lives doing what we
Mhm.
do. How do you look this good on a Wednesday afternoon, bro? You didn't know I was going live. You were about to take a deuce, and look at you. You look like a movie star, bro.
Well, I just landed from Thailand yesterday. You know why? I think I slept 12 hours last night. So I went to bed at my son and I watched Garden State. My older son Oliver had never seen. It's like that movie is my favorite movie as a for the music, for the writing, for directing, for acting.
Yeah.
Like it's the movie that impacted me the most and made me want to be a director, writer, actor. And the soundtrack of Garden State has every song on there. I play most of them on my lives, those songs.
Yeah.
But Oliver had never seen it, and at like midnight, he had his hand on my chest, like he was laying on the sofa, and he leaves tomorrow for like another huge work trip. And so after that movie, and he just loved it because the music's so good and the
Yeah.
story's so interesting.
Yeah.
Uh, and I went to sleep, and Austin was sleeping. My 3-year-old was sleeping in a little like a little couch thing in our room. He slept. We both slept till 12:30 p.m. today. Like we slept from. So he slept 15 hours, and I slept 12 hours
That's
after.
amazing.
Yeah, after not sleeping for 2 days. So maybe that's it.
So do
But
you think you got over the jet lag, or do you think that's you? Are you now you're up until like who knows? You maybe you'll be up until 4 a.m. this morning, and
no,
you'll
I
be like,
think
wait, what did I
I
do
did it. I think I did it right because I stayed awake all day
all day?
yesterday. We landed at 9
Yesterday.
a.m. from Tokyo.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think we did it right. I stayed up as long as I could on the big day, and now,
Good
yeah.
to go. You have.
But
So what was Thailand about? How did you end up in Thailand? And did you see Andrew Walker and
we
Cassandra
did. We hung out with them in Bangkok, which was crazy.
out of like
On
randomly, or how did that happen?
like on Christmas Day, it just happened that we were in Thailand at the same time and happened to be in the same part of Thailand, and we just altered our hotels so we could be at the same place and experience Christmas together. It was really cool, actually.
That's cool.
And we did this crazy tuk-tuk trip into and went up to the top of this tower in the Bangkok's amazing, man. Bangkok is has a vibe. Like you know how cities have like New York has a
Yeah.
vibe,
Yeah.
parts of LA have vibes, Paris has a vibe.
Yeah.
Bangkok, man, like between the food and like the massages and then street markets and like there is something about Bangkok that it's like architecture and the people and I found a couple coffee shops where they roasted their own coffee beans and
Isn't that
did a
crazy?
pour over for me, and I was just like, what is going on?
That's awesome.
So we were invited on a cruise. One of our good friend Gina's husband or a partner was doing this cruise and invited us, and cruises are a mixed bag. Like they're sort of like sea jail. Like like if you're on it too long, it can feel
Yeah,
like jail a little
yeah,
bit.
you're like, what are we doing?
And so we got off early in Vietnam. It was supposed to be 12 days. I lasted 7.
Okay. Okay. You're like, bye.
I was like, I want to get on the land and explore. Like ports are, they're just intense ports. So
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
we explored Vietnam a little bit as a group, and then Kate wanted to see some islands in Thailand, and Kate's mom joined us. So I rented a motorcycle with a
Oh,
sidecar,
wow.
but it had a roof on it, and so Kate's 84-year-old mom and my 3-year-old Austin was in this little tuk-tuk that I rented, and then Kate was on the back, and we fanged around this island for like a couple weeks, uh, just finding coconuts and $9 massages and $13 dinners, and like we just had like the coolest kind of January, and then we just kind of Kate's mom went home, and we kind of kept exploring Asia or Thailand a little bit.
That's awesome, man. That sounds like paradise.
I mean, it's traveling with a toddler and an 84. It's an adventure. Like,
Well, that's hard because you've got two people on both ends of the spectrum of life where mobility is
yeah,
limited, the agility is, like
yeah,
I don't know how cognitively your
she's
your
great.
wife your wife's mom is, but
Yeah.
yeah, 84 is old. It's getting old.
It is, especially to be like traveling like that. But it was really cool. And then we just came home. I did some self tapes and some auditions like there, which was a challenge, as you know, we're in your location and you're filming for something. But now we're home, man.
I hope you book one of those gigs because
Yeah,
it's always charmed when you film something in a foreign place and your background is really cool and
I
interesting.
know.
You're relaxed, right?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
it's all good.
You're wearing like a Hawaiian shirt because you had no other wardrobe. And it's
Yeah.
like this is what my character would wear. But I did use the background. I used the wild jungle rather than like trying to find a wall. I'm just like, well, this is it. Um, but yeah, man, I like that you're doing this. So are you bringing a fan on sometimes? Is that what you're doing?
So what I've been doing so far is the first 3 days, I would just go live, and I would, I pop up in my little "Who wants to join me," and like Craig is watching, so I'd be like, "Craig, come on live with me," or whatever, and we would just talk. And so I've been, I keep it live for like 30
Yeah.
minutes. It has nothing to do with anything other than the fact that like I used to have a really hard time saying fan. I always felt like it was derogatory. I felt like it was like you're a fan. And then all of a sudden I started really understanding what fandom means. And people choose to support somebody, and they rally and they start spending their money and their time and their energy, and they support you. And a fan is also something that, like, when you think of a winds fanning a flame, it helps build. And so it really becomes this beautiful symbiotic relationship. And it was something that I have a brand new respect for, especially after last year. Andrew Walker and I did that cruise in January, and then I did the other Hallmark cruise in October or whenever, and then did two experiences in Kansas City with the Hallmark Christmas experiences. And when you meet people face to face and you hear their stories and you hear how much they're sacrificing financially or with their time to be there, and all of a sudden you're like, and I think maybe it was my own insecurity, like I maybe didn't feel worthy of having that kind of appreciation from people. But all of
Yeah.
a sudden I was like, man, you're following me around like I'm Grateful Dead or I'm John Mayer, or and I wish I could get up and play music for you like you do, which is awesome, and give you a proper show. But what I can offer you is a ton of my time and all of my
Yeah.
attention,
Yeah.
and I want to hear your stories. And so I used to do, as you know, the Chautauqua, the Polaha
Yeah.
Chautauqua. That became something that I wanted to just put to bed for a little while, but I missed going live, and I thought,
Hmm.
out of nowhere, literally middle of month, I didn't tell a soul. I was like, you know what I'm gonna do? It's called
Just gonna.
Fan the Fandom February. I'm going live every day for the month of February. I'm just going to reach out and say hi to people. But a part of that was I wanted to talk to other actors. And like, what would you say if you had to think back on a high moment in your life, an interaction with a fan? Do you have any that you could think back on and be like, dude, I remember meeting this particular fan. It changed. Like, at what point did you go from being an actor who didn't have fans to realizing, oh shoot, what I say, what I do matters. These people care about me. I'm gonna
Yeah.
up my game. Like, what's your fan story? Like, if you had a fan story, what would it be?
I think it was during the pandemic mainly. Like I hear you, by the way, on the conversation is like it's a weird thing to think of having like to call someone a fan, or like, fan family, like framily. I kind of call them framily because when they, especially the ones that have been so intimately connected, they feel like family in the sense that I know who they are, and some of them come on Zoom and all that. But the thing that happened home, I was on One Calls a Heart, and they asked me to do a live
Yeah.
stream of a 30-minute concert before an episode on
Okay.
Facebook Live, on Hallmark's Facebook, and like 5,000 people watched me sing like 10
Right.
songs, and it was right when in 2019, like as things were starting to lock down, and I enjoyed it so much, the singing and the interaction, that I was like, I'm just going to go live once a week, because there's people that couldn't go to church, they
Right.
couldn't go outside, and on some of those live there was like 800 people that were on my channels just listening to music and making requests. I started to get to know people by name. And then I started to go live 3 times a week because there's nothing else to do. I was just
Right.
like, I'm just going to play music. And here's the beauty of having fans, as you call them, is like without them, we don't get to make our movies. I don't get to write music. I don't get to play music, because that it's, or else it would just be into the abyss. Like, it's because of the people that show up with their passion and their love and their listening, that we create into that listening, we create into that expectation. It's really special, man. It's like,
Yeah.
and I've heard John Mayer, it's funny you mentioned him, talk about fans in this way too. It's like, it's our privilege to be able to play for somebody. Without them, there is no art.
There's no art.
Without these folks on here commenting, you and I just be talking to each other, which would still
Yeah.
be a fun
Yeah.
conversation.
There's something elevated. I remember hearing stories about Johnny Depp where he would stay at whatever event that he was at, and he would stay until the last person got their picture taken or the autograph that they were after. And he said, these people are, they're my bosses. He's like, yeah, I might work for Disney. Disney might pay me, but if these people didn't go buy the tickets, I don't have any, like, who, if they don't show up, then I don't have a job.
Wow.
And so it's a little, it's not as like, well, you know, it, it, it's not as like, well, you know, quid pro quo, or I need, you know, I'm going to do this so I have that.
Yeah.
But what a gift,
Yeah.
what a gift to be able to be an actor for a living and have people genuinely love the work that you do and have it be something that has value to them, that's helped them through a moment or helped them. I mean, I'm telling you, dude, this letter, I mean, I don't want to read it out loud because it would be an invasion of her privacy, but Diane Kindle writes me this letter, and she talks about, you know, two things that I did. One was the shift and one was the Hallmark stuff. And how important, like, and that, I think when I was a kid and I got started, I used to always say, if there's like one person whose life I change with my acting, then I've accomplished my job. Of course we want to work. Of course we want to make money. Of course we want to be at the top of the game. And I do feel like Hollywood's a mountain. I always call it Mount Everest. And I feel like there's a peak, and there are actors that you and I can both name who, you know, have gotten to that peak as far as celebrity level or
Yeah.
green light ability. There's certain
Yeah.
things where you're like, okay, and I think that there's always the hope of, uh, on a very superficial level, more. But when you start to realize there's quality over quantity and the relationships, like I've jumped into your lives before, and I mean, Anne, Haraskin, is it Haraskin? What's her last name? Anne?
I always say
Um,
Herakison, but I think I say it wrong. I
right,
think
yeah. But like,
Herakison or yeah.
but like, it's amazing how much she loves you, and I feel honored that she's jumped into my world. And like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
you know, it's this amazing thing where, you know, we've got these people in our lives, and it is a conversation. And you know, I think about these books that I'm writing, and I'm like, well, this is my audience, and I'm
Yeah.
going to tailor make, you
Yeah.
know, certain things for certain people. And and I think as artists, you know, part of it is, and I think you and I both been blessed with really kind fans. I think there's some fandoms where there's a lot of derogatory stuff, or it's pretty rough, or there's some teeth to it, and you got to be careful. But I think you and I particularly have been blessed with really genuinely awesome people
Yeah.
and
Y-
safe, kind environments.
Yeah, and it was one of your hardcore fans, Jeanette Lemon, that told me all about you. She's like, you have to have him on your podcast. And it wasn't long. It was, I'm trying to think of, and then I worked with Jill, but I listened to Jeanette and I asked you to come on my podcast. And then you told the story of the angel and all this other stuff. And then that from there came this relationship with Caleb till I found out he made music.
Yeah.
But then I worked with Jill Wagner, and she
Yeah.
was telling me about you too. And I watched a clip of you guys from the mystery thing you did
Yeah.
together, and that's the first time I had seen you act. And I was like, I really actually really liked the way you acted. It was like really for Hallmark too, very subtle and very like stoic. And she's like, he had to fight really hard for that leather jacket. She was telling me little things about there. Right at the moment where Jill had just had Lioness, she'd showed me the first trailer from Lioness with Taylor
Oh, that's
Sheridan.
awesome. Yeah.
But like without these fans, the only reason I have a music career is because of all the folks that have watched Hallmark and CSI or whatever, people who have watched the acting stuff, they're there, and so they listen to the music. And I'm so grateful for the fans from the acting side that actually are there for when I play
Yeah.
music too.
Yeah. Yeah. And dude, I want to just say this publicly. I am so grateful as a father and as a friend for how you have loved on Caleb and just really become a mentor to him and have included him in these really incredible shows at Hotel Cafe in Los Angeles, the Listening Room in Nashville. You've been so generous in a world where people covet their social media currency, where they treat their fame like it's currency and they're stingy with it. You've been nothing but generous. And I know that it's going to come back to you tenfold. I know that it's just going to keep pouring back into you. But
He's so
it's amazing, dude.
he's so great, man. Like I want to make a gospel album with him, and I already have the songs like where we can use Smith Curry too, the guy he did a great job of that song for him and that other song. But I want to send Caleb like some old gospel things that are kind of public domain, stuff that your parents and grandparents and my parents, grandparents loved, and create. I'll do a verse, he'll do a verse, and then we harmonize the choruses. But we could. I'll come to Nashville to do the vocals together, but we could have Smith hash out the music for us, and we just do the vocals on it and do this really great 12-song classic gospel record. I really want to do that with Caleb. His voice, because I think at my concert when we did, I think it was Old Rugged Cross. There's your son really knows how to harmonize really well. I can't believe his growth of talent in like in such a compressed time. Like in 2 years, it's like he's growing like 20 years. It's insane. It's insane. It's insane how fast his talent has. Like he has like depth of playing and harmonizing. It's just
Yeah.
insane. Yeah.
It's yeah. Yeah. Thank you for saying that. He of course it can't happen fast enough, and he's got a song actually dropping on the 21st of this month. He's got have you ever heard a brand new song? I'm sure he's played it for you at some point. But anyway, it's Smith Curry. Every time he makes money, he's like, "All right, I just made some money. I'm gonna go make a song." And we're like,
Yeah.
"Don't you want a food to eat off of, like eat with?" And like, but it's yeah, I'm really proud of him. It is cool. It is cool what he's doing. But again, I got to go back to you and say thank you for giving him those opportunities, because they've really been sort of like jewels in his crown as far as getting in front of people, playing in front of people, and at cool venues that matter.
Yeah. It's the least I could do, man. People have done that for me my whole life. And it's I don't feel like I'm doing a favor. I'm just doing what God's put on my heart and the natural thing to do. It's absolutely no sweat off my brow. Like it's the opportunity that was so obvious. It's like, yeah, there's no need to thank I thank him because he made the show better, like both of them. And then I think that there's just a natural momentum and a flow with certain people, and with you too, man. I just every time I spend time with you, I feel this connection, and I can't wait to do our podcast hike in the near future here too.
Dude, let's do it. Let's get it on the books. Let's
Yeah,
do it in March. You want to do
yeah,
it in
yeah.
March?
Let's do it in March, and like we'll just
I
there's
love
a
the idea of just walking and recording. Like there's gonna be stuff you're like, we're gonna
we're
edit that.
we have to send that into editing. But let's do it in March. Absolutely. There's so much to talk about with LA, with what happened with the fires. We'll probably, depends where we hike, we could even see them because there's those hikes behind Palisades. We could probably take a photo or a video of that, what happened here too. And just like, yeah, there's a lot, whatever comes up for a conversation, I'd love that. I really appreciate you, man.
Dude, I appreciate you too.
Yeah.
Thank you for jumping on with me live today. What a treat. It was a total surprise. I pinned you in my mind. I was like, all right, I got to get Paul Greene on. I want Brittany Robertson to come on from Life Unexpected. I'm going to try to get just some people that I love and people that we have fun stories to share and just to do this with. And just as a way to say thank you to the people who love us and who
Yeah.
support our work and who like our music and our movies and our
Yeah.
shows
Your
and again,
fans are amazing. There's a lot of crossover between us.
there are.
And
Yeah.
I know at the beginning you said you don't sing, but I heard you do that duet with Brandon. And is that really you guys harmonizing?
Yeah.
It sounded so good.
It's so stupid, but it's good. It's fun.
Were you in the same room?
No, I like did the David Bowie part and he did the Bing Crosby part and like he put it together. So the funny thing about Caleb and Micah and Jude is that growing up with a father who acts and likes to sing, one of the things we would do is harmonize. So we'll get in the car and we'll sing a U2 song and each kid will take a different part. And so
Oh,
they've been harmonizing their whole life. And you know, that's the perk. That's where it's
that's
like full
dude.
on
Yeah.
theater nerds, but it's like it has been fun. And when you hear Caleb, Micah, and Jude sing together, it's that thing of like that the tritone and the brothers, where it just all of a
Whoa.
sudden it drops in, and Daddy comes in, and we have a lot of fun. So
Daddy brings the bass.
yeah, Daddy brings bass, Mama's got center.
Mama's got trouble. Well, Micah, speaking of Micah, the pictures he took at my show that Caleb was singing at, and his little clips and the way that he got behind us, he captured a couple moments. and I don't know if I've been able to. I thanked him through Caleb, but make sure you tell Micah uh, how amazing those pictures were. I've never had that perspective from behind
Yeah.
us out into the crowd. So
He was
that's
so sweet. He was like, "Do you think he'll get mad if I get on
no, don't
stage?"
do
And
it.
I was like, "No, get up
Yeah,
there,
get out
dude.
there.
Take him. He will love it. He'll be so grateful for him." Yeah, he's like you, man. We got our kids are we're blessed. We are
Yeah,
blessed men, and they are like, arrows in our quiver. Like we have this beautiful, we get a legacy that's beyond, again, quality over quantity, right? Like, how deep can you go? How rich can it be on a love level, on a heart level? Um, I'm gonna go pick up Jude, so I'm
okay,
gonna bounce,
okay,
and I want what I want to do is, let's 100%, let's make a plan for March, and let's
yeah,
just do it.
yeah,
Because you've had a huge, dude, even when you were like tithe, I started tithing again because of our conversation. I had put it off to get out of debt for so long, and then
yeah,
I was like, I'm just gonna
and
start tithing again. And it
and
is crazy how God just he keeps lubing the chassis. He's like, here, man, if I'm gonna just,
yeah.
so it's
We,
an
yeah, when
interesting,
I know we came up against a weird financial moment as a family not that long ago, and I'm like, Kate, I know that this is when we have to give. Like, even though things are tight, this is the time. You don't give when you know this. You have to. It's a principle. It's like gravity.
yeah,
It's as fundamental as gravity
yeah.
is tithing in terms of like the balance of financial kind of success, I think. And it's the only principle in the Bible where God says, "Test me in this."
I know, dude. And when you said that, I was convicted. I was like, he's right. He's right.
Yeah. So
He's
it's a
right.
challenge. It's like
Well,
test me
because
and
it's
see
it's
if I
almost
don't.
like, where's your heart? What's your heart? What do you trust in? Do you trust your own
Yeah.
resources, or do you trust me? And if you trust me, give it all away. Give it all
And
away.
it's
Give it all away.
in that verse in Micah 3, he's actually giving permission for you to go, just do it, even if it's for financial gain. Test me in it.
Yeah.
Like that's it's what's really interesting about that is like it's not like do it out of your generous heart and hope maybe that everyone's blessed. It's like test me and see if I don't open up the floodgates of heaven and pour out so much riches and abundance on you that you won't know what to do with it. It's very clear. It's not even like it's not creepy. Like you can literally go, I don't have any, I'm low. I'm gonna give everything I have inside of this 10% principle, and I'm actually gonna expect something back. And it's not creepy to do it that way. He says to do that.
That's awesome. I love that. Telling you, man, it makes
Yeah.
me sweat because the conviction is real, and it's like it is. And I mean, there was a period in my life when I first met Julianne, and where we were so faithful with 10%. Like, and it was the first check I wrote, and I was getting huge checks. And even my money manager was like, "Do you really want to tithe this much?" And I was like, "Yeah, don't ask. I've given 10 to my agent, 10 to my manager, but my first 10 is going to God. Like, that's what's happening. It's 30%, and that's what I'm doing." And it was there was an unwavering thing, and things happen, and in 2015 I was praying, and I was like, I don't think you want my debt money. And so I didn't tithe for a while, and then our conversation kicked
Yeah.
off this thing where I was like, you need to, even if it's just a little bit, like, just start giving again. And so we've been doing that, which has been,
I love it.
I'm hedging my bets because I need to tithe right now. I've made some money where I'm like, I probably need to tithe on that too,
Yeah.
to be.
Yeah, it's one of those principles like you can test God, like give whatever that amount is and then just sit there and like watch for the phone to ring and another blessing of God pouring out abundance from heaven in some form. Like it's actually in financial success that he promises it. It's like you can actually it's really a cool principle, man. I think it is the financial piece in your financial planning that needs to, I think, be at the forefront of
Be
it.
the first in.
Yeah.
Yeah. First in, first out. Dude, nothing but love in my heart for you,
Yeah,
brother.
me
I'm
too.
so grateful for you to jump on with me today. Thank you.
You too, man. I'm so glad this worked out. I'm glad I could get off the out of the bathroom
Out of the
quickly.
loo. I'm glad you're like a rosy cheeked, 12 hours of sleep right out of Thailand. Yeah, to be you. You're in LA right now?
Yeah, yeah. Let's. I'll message you a couple dates in March, and we'll just we will not let March pass without us doing our hike because I think that'd be one of a really fun way. Because whenever you walk, different
Yeah,
emotions come out and different
yeah,
things come out. Yeah.
yeah. Well, and real quick, and then I'm going to say goodbye. Well, you say bye with me. Well, I'm just gonna. Well, you stay on, and then I'm just going to close this out for the day. But uh, what I used to call it my holy road, which was above. So we lived in the Palisades, and we were on Lucero. And everyone who's been watching knows the house that the kids grew up in. It's gone. The neighborhood is gone. It burned in the fire. So it's we haven't lived there since 2019, so other than memory lane, like no personal loss, but it's still, I would walk on that trail at the top of my hill every day, and it was this really interesting sort of juncture in my life where these two revelations, like, one was, why are you trying to be a star, be the moon and reflect the sun's light? And that was the first thing that I heard. And then God was like, I always wanted to remind people of Marlon Brando when I acted. And he was like, why don't you try reminding people of me? And it was Jesus being like, what would that look like if you were reminding people of me? And I used to fall down on that path, dude, and pray. Like, I would literally get on my hands and knees, and I didn't care. And like Reese Witherspoon and Laura Dern would go hiking on that trail, and you'd see all these people, and I'd be like, I don't care who sees me. Like, and I never got caught praying, but like I would be on my hands and knees asking. And it's interesting because that's when the Hallmark stuff opened up. That's when that began,
Mm.
and the Hallmark stuff opened up the books and the movie and all sorts of stuff, man. It's been God. I mean, so we should go there, and then from there
Yes.
we could
I
look
want
over
to
the
go.
thing.
That's what I had the idea of a hike, but you just convicted me about why you want to be a star and the reflecting the sun. That's really powerful, man.
And
I iron sharpens iron, man. Thank
it
you.
is. All right, brother. Let's say bye to our fans. Bye, fans.
Bye, everybody.
Love
All right, I'm
you
gonna hop
guys.
off. I
All
love you,
right.
brother.
See you, brother.
Bye.
Bye, guys.